rolling.
Let's go then.
Let's do the show in Lisp format.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm all set.
I
Sounds
think
good
that
to
would
me.
I think that would be insensitive.
It's good to see you, Joe Sousa.
Well, Rook knew a guy who talked like that.
Jimmy Woods. Yes, I'll have a cheeseburger and a Sprite, please. He'd go down to the club bar on Randolph and Cleveland.
No.
And he would he'd go up there and
Is this being captured?
he would my brother Paul was the
Club
bartender.
bar. I know who owned that.
Yeah, it was a 3-2 joint.
Wasn't it Job's buddy of mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Woods, he had really thick feet, and he would go around. He'd run into Vogel's with his dad, and Paul would say, "How's your dad doing?" Well, he's not alive anymore. He's gone now, so that's just what it is. Can I get my Slicker bar now? He was a legitimate dude. He would be walking around Highland Park, and
Is he still around?
I haven't seen him forever, so I know his dad is gone. But when he walked, he was one of those tiptoe walkers.
Oh, yeah.
You know, where they're kind
That'll
of
happen,
Yeah,
yeah.
kind of up and ready to go.
Fratelloni's party.
Yes, sir.
Fratelloni's.
Jimmy Woods. Haven't seen him in a while.
Yes.
Good guy, this Jimmy Woods.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic
We
Podcast.
haven't offended you yet. Just buckle up.
Right. Yeah, if you see Jimmy, have him give him us.
Number 1039, March 20. Is it the 20th?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
First
20
day of summer.
2023. 66 degrees was the record high on this day. That was in 1938. So that long string of high 70s in 2012 ended. 9 below on this day in 1965.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Sousa.
The interest in or fascination with extraterrestrial beings or life has gone from the point of you're an absolute pathetic crackpot, if you even acknowledge such a thing, to the point where I'm now enthusiastically hoping and wishing for their arrival. And I'm not being facetious. We need a large extraterrestrial manifestation to hover over Earth, and somebody in there get on a megaphone and say, "You people are screwing it up. You're crazy. You're nuts. Everything you're doing is backwards. What the hell's wrong with you people?" And that would shake some of these people to their core.
Coming
Dear
soon.
people of Earth, what the F is wrong with you?
Hilarious.
Get your S together or we'll take care of the problem for you.
That's right.
Got it?
Damn.
That's right.
Coming to the state of Minnesota, the new alien tax.
I know I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. We're surrounded by mental illness that is of its own making, which I think is distinct from people truly suffering from mental illness for which they've had no hand in creating. I'm talking about man-made mental illness.
Okay.
So much like man-made climate change.
Point of privilege BS is what it is.
That big ship could hover there and freak people out and have people and the guy on the megaphone would say, "You have to recover your senses. You people you've all jumped the shark. You're all crazy." We have a professor in the failed academy at Loyola. Is Loyola a Jesuit school?
I believe so. I'll confirm that.
You have a professor at Loyola University. If it's the Loyola in Chicago, I'm quite familiar with the school. She's claiming that organized pantries and kitchens are rooted in racist and sexist social structures. And that she's defined a trend that she's calling pantry porn.
Oh.
In which people show off their neatly aligned glass spice jars tagged with printed labels and wicker baskets filled with packages of pasta, crackers, and snacks. And she thinks this has become a status symbol for white women.
Loyola is a private Jesuit research university in Chicago.
In Chicago. That's
founded
all I
by
need to know.
1870.
This is Loyola.
Yeah.
This isn't a box top of Wheaties school. This is Loyola.
Legit.
They have an associate professor there named Jenna Drenton. She wrote an op-ed for the website called The Conversation, in which she reacted to what she calls pantry porn, a phenomenon where obsessively organized kitchens have become a new status symbol on social media. She said, I've noticed an uptick, that gets foghorned. I've noticed an uptick in glamorized, stylized, and fully stocked pantries on TikTok and Instagram, giving rise to a content genre I dub pantry porn, Drenton wrote. Is there one more page for you, Drenton? Yeah. The professor also suggested that white minimalist concepts mean less is more. The new minimalism means more is more, as long as the more is not messy.
Huh?
Consumers don't need less, they need more. More containers, more labels, more storage, she said. Drenton also claimed that pantry porn sets the aspirational standard for becoming an ideal mom, ideal wife, and an ideal woman. It's the promise of making daily domestic work easier.
So my Tupperware should be in with my peanut butter and the pots and pans in the freezer and the pickles. Where do I put the pickles?
How dark is your mind to come up with that?
It's dark. It has to be. It's.
Is it dark or is it conniving?
What if a black woman also has a neat, organized kitchen? Well,
You just got lucky?
How dark is your mind to introduce these notions?
Well,
Which is why I want the extraterrestrial manifestation to come down and save us. God could save us, but he's busy.
He's got some stuff going on.
So somebody come down and say, you people are nuts. You've lost it. You're all so spoiled. You have nothing to do except come up with this BS like neat pantries are racist.
This is just the continuation of them trying to kill the American dream and the American way of life.
You're right. But a pantry.
Do you think they're? Do you think this gal is trying to outdo the gal from our own U of M, who said if you get a good night of sleep, you're racist?
Yeah,
basically,
right.
She didn't say it. It wasn't those words, but that's what she inferred.
I miss this, and I'm not being smart aleck when I say I missed it because I don't read generally. I don't read 99% of the Star Tribune's main editorials.
Oh, I never. You have to do. For your own mental health, you have to ignore it.
And the reason I don't is because they're just terribly benign, or they're terribly predictable,
Or propaganda.
Yeah, but I did not read the one, and I missed this and was alerted to it by an emailer. I missed this last Sunday, a week ago yesterday, when they eulogized in their play editorial Bud Grant.
Okay.
Did anyone read it? Did John read last Sunday?
I did not.
I read it since you mentioned it 15
Kenny,
minutes
you didn't
ago.
read it last
No.
Sunday.
No.
Chris, Matt?
I did not.
No, either did I. And, of course, Bud had died the previous Saturday. He died, March 10th. And as Royce pointed out, Bud, conveniently enough, died early in the morning Saturday, so everybody could write about him for Sunday.
And he was right. It was great.
And it's a fairly praiseworthy editorial. Bud Grant, a North Country icon. And they even say if Minnesota had its own Mount Rushmore, the storied Vikings coach would be on it. And the authors are by the editorial board. And I thought, what does the emailer want me to see? Well, we learned that outside of football, people disliked Grant. Some people disliked Grant for his lifelong love and advocacy for hunting. So we have to throw that in there.
Is that true?
Well, he was a lifelong hunter.
No, that I know.
And
but
the Star Tribune is apologizing for that to the people who are offended by his use of a weapon.
A firearm.
Yeah, he was an unapologetic sportsman. Another way it was manifested was in his support for conservation. And then they get him for speaking against a settlement over Native American hunting and treaty rights when he went to bat for the walleye on Mille Lacs, saying, why can't we all catch them? Remember that stuff from years ago? Yep. So that was the first wrinkle in this otherwise nice eulogy. But then you get down to this. Let's see. But times change. And another thing about Grant's visage, his vision, is that it was white.
Oh, for God's sake.
So we're getting him for being a white guy now. Nothing wrong with that. These anonymous.
But I'm going to mention it anyway.
We're going to stick it in here. Nothing wrong with that. It seems egregious to even bring up. Then why?
Then why?
Exactly.
Then why are you? And you know perfectly well why you are, because you have no spines. It seems egregious to even bring up, except that it's representative of the era in which he lived and of the complicated evolution of racial balance taking place in current times, both in society at large and in professional football specifically. Though current Viking general manager Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah praised Grant on Saturday for being ahead of his time for commitment to diversity, the Vikings did not hire their first black assistant coach until after his tenure. Well, I got news for you, Star Tribune. Not many NFL teams did. But this is the same reason the Euphorians are managing to tear down statues and everything. They want to rewrite history and don't accept the times. They don't accept what the current times were. And then the Star Tribune notes the makeup of the region is changing too. And now we're going to go all the way back to early European settlers, with their connections to pioneer times, are now joined by diasporas from Africa, Latin America, and Asia. So we're supposed to stuff Grant in a compartment and shove him backwards as part of what was wrong with European settlement.
You know, a little bit ago, Joe, you had asked, where do we fit in? Isn't Bud Grant almost untouchable with stuff like this?
Not to
but
these
not to
fools.
this people and these fools.
But here, I'm puzzled as to what they want me to understand. They write, this is one of those times when it's neither an exaggeration nor a trifle to declare that an era has ended.
Huh?
So the editorial board members are David Banks, Jill Burkham, Scott Gillespie, Denise Johnson, Patricia Lopez, John Rash, and DJ Tice. Star Tribune opinion staff members Maggie Kelly and Alina Newsel also contribute, and Star Tribune publisher and CEO Michael J. Klingensmith serves as an advisor to the board. They really don't have that at the end of every editorial, I don't think. Maybe they do. But in other words, this is one of those times when it's neither an exaggeration nor a trifle to declare that an era has ended. So really what they're doing is saying, okay, it was fun that we had Bud Grant, but he was white and that era's ended. The whites we can acknowledge from here on out, the white men that can earn our praise, had best not hunt, had best not dare say that the natural resources of Lake Mille Lacs should be open to everybody, and the whites that we might honor from here on out sure as hell better be overwhelmed by black assistant coaches and executives. Okay.
I can't get there.
It's mental illness as far as I'm concerned. It's just mental illness.
But it's also another example, Joe, of really, really, really working hard to get offended.
You really had to work at this to come up with to come up with the idea that his vision was white. Well, he was a white guy.
Coaching football, where what? His
Predominantly.
roster was at least 50%
With the
African
exception
American.
of Alan Page, whose black players loved him.
Well, they all did, yeah.
But
Well, even Alan
Except
did for a while.
until he didn't.
Until he did.
look at what he did. Look at what Bud did. If you want to go deep down, he expected all of his players. He had the same expectations, white or black. If you were white or black, you had to stand for the national anthem. You had to wear black shoes. You had to hold your helmet this way. He didn't cut anybody. Oh, you don't feel like it? Okay, you don't have to. Nope. This is what my expectations of all of you guys are. Now let's go.
See if I can phrase this correctly. The need to frame your alarm, the alarm being that Bud Grant was right, the need to frame that institutionally, which you've done through the editorial, suggests, now I need help, suggests what? You needed to frame institutionally your awareness that you dreamed up out of whole cloth. It had nothing to do with anything except your own need to frame this. Suggests your own man-made mental illness, but it also suggests that your institution is capricious. Your institution is arbitrary as it addresses truth. I'm getting closer. Your institution will make the truth malleable to reflect.
Hey, Rook.
No.
Let's let him bleep that
Let's dial that one back.
Whichever way the left wing wind is blowing.
Is malleable. What the does that mean? Malleable.
No, I was onto it. You are painting your institution not as a trustworthy keeper of fact and truth. You are representing your institution as having the ability to be whatever it wants to be, relatively speaking.
Well, that's just a complicated way of saying you're the left wing's puppet,
Yeah.
And isn't
preaching the left wing mantra.
Capricious the team that the Gopher hockey team's playing on Thursday?
No, that's Canisius.
Oh,
Tenacious.
got it.
Capricious.
Well, what is the professor at Loyola, if nothing but someone who is saying Loyola is not a factual, truth-based institution. It's full of whimsical people like me who can tell you that I view the institution as being completely malleable to my view of life, which is, my current view is that white women who organize their kitchens are racist.
Ah.
Now, the Star Tribune did not call Bud Grant a racist. They did everything but that.
Right. They danced around it. Which is laughable. It's completely laughable.
Well, I'm glad I was alerted to that. I'm not glad because now I feel.
Doesn't that though go to show you? Because you got it from one emailer, right? How little GLers pay attention to the Star Tribune editorial board.
And there was also a letter to the editor over the weekend regarding that, pushing back. Does Jenna from Loyola say anything about a well-organized shop? Am I off the hook there?
No, I think that would be indicative of some sort of white affectation that you have the time and the privilege to organize your shop.
I thought it was actually mental illness on my part that I can't stand having a messy shop.
It's compounded too, Kenny, by the tire burning. That adds to it.
Right.
GLers, I want you to go to the Mueller Memorial website. Muellers are a friend of mine. I know them all my life. And get a hold of Scott's book, What to Know Before You Go, because it's written in a style that will provide you comfort. And the key message is he's going to think about funeral planning for you when you don't have to. It can be frightening and intimidating, but he has devoted his life to making it not frightening and intimidating. They really, really have a different way of looking at this. And it's not a pleasant task.
Got to do it.
But you got to admire a group that tries to make it as pleasant as possible. And this is what the Mueller people do. I've parked a couple with Mueller.
Okay.
Park the old man.
That's how they call it.
Park
in
the mother.
biz. Park.
Well, you park them. You know, what are you going to do? And I've known these people a long time, and he's not going to be upset that I saved that. They've been doing this for 75 years, more than 3 generations. They take care of the difficult details, and they'll help you create the perfect event to honor your loved one and bring families together to celebrate a well-lived life. Go to MuellerMemorial.com. MuellerMemorial.com and check out Scott Mueller's book, What to Know Before You Go.
Hey, GLers, it's Reavers here with just a simple question for you. Are you feeling like it's harder to get in shape and maybe even stay in shape? Well, guess what? I've got something for you. We've got a brand new sponsor to the Garage Logic podcast, Nugenix Total T. And guess what? They're offering a complimentary bottle when you text 231-231 and enter the keyword garage. I got to tell you, I started taking this a couple of weeks ago. My goodness, does it work. You know, I'm in my 40s now, but I want to stay active, especially with 2 young kids. And of course, she's looking at me and getting tired of the dad bod feeling that I have. I'm telling you what, try Nugenix Total T. You know, for some time now, I've been feeling a little less like my old self, and I haven't had as much time to work out, but I wanted the energy and the body that I once had. And I'm telling you, Nugenix Total T really helped me feel revived. Hey, it's not your fault. As you age, your body loses free testosterone, the man hormone, you know? It happens to every guy, and it can make it more difficult to stay in shape and be energetic and active. Remember when winning felt easy? Well, that's because when you were younger, you were at the peak of your testosterone production. What some have called the winner's hormone or the man hormone, wouldn't it be nice to get that winner's edge again and that old swagger back in your step? If you want more energy to counter the negative physical effects of aging, Nugenix Total T Testosterone Booster with Testofen will help you turn back the clock. It's going to re-energize your workouts, and it's going to get you better results at the gym and help you look and feel like the man you really want to be. So try it right now. Get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T when you text 231-231 and enter the keyword garage. Text now and get a bottle of Nugenix Thermal, their most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text 231-231 and enter the keyword garage. That's 231-231 and make sure you enter the keyword garage.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Soucheray.
Moon Motorsports celebrating 52 years as a family-owned and operated multi-line dealer in Monticello, bringing us the very best in outdoor fun and hilarity. Now that spring is here, we're going to talk about snow, and not about the snow melting. We're going to actually talk about next winter and the current Polaris Snow Check. Now's that special time when you can reserve your 2024 Polaris Dream Sled. The Snow Check process, super easy. Just call Moon today, get started, choose your model, the color, all the options. And yeah, you know what? Nothing more fun than shopping for a brand new sled. And since we're talking snow, Moon has all of their snow gear and apparel on sale right now. Save up to 30% on that gear that you've been waiting to buy. Good decision waiting. Now is the time when you benefit. Moon Motorsports is our Polaris, Skidoo, Honda, Yamaha, Can-Am, and all the Euro brand motorcycles. Located in Monticello and on the web, moonmotorsports.com.
You know what else was in that editorial was the intimation of anti-masculinity.
Oh, sure.
Because what they're really saying is this won't happen again, whatever words they use. The Bud was truly the last of a kind.
Oh, toxic male.
Yeah, meaning he was the crew-cutted, all-American boy who loved to take his gun out into the woods and shoot animals. That's not going to happen again because we prefer a demasculinized society, and on and on and on. I just soon end that.
For some reason, when you're saying that, I can't help but think about our GLer with the snowblower and the hippie neighbors across the street.
Yeah.
With the electric car and the electric snowblower and all of that. Yeah. He's the version of a toxic male that everybody hates.
Right.
Until
they need him.
Yes.
Another reason to distrust newspapers.
Okay.
Well, I can give you many examples.
Yeah, you're in the business.
I was alerted to the idea that the newspaper USA Today is apparently named a Woman of the Year for each state.
In March?
I don't know if it was for the month of March.
No, but I mean, that seems like an odd time of the year to be doing the Woman of the Year.
It was just National Women's.
Oh, good call. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. You're
something like that.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Well, John, you'll have to verify this. Mm-hmm. In any event, they came up with somebody for Minnesota who isn't even a woman. Oh. They came up with Lee Finke, the legislator who only... Now, you better find out, was Lee Finke the Woman of the Year in the country or just Minnesota's Woman of the Year?
Yeah, this is just a list. USA Today names 2023 Women of the Year. Oh. And it's a list with there's no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know who we should have named is who's the one that was stealing all the luggage? That should have been the Woman of the Year.
Oh, yeah, that fruitcake for the Biden administration.
Yeah, that should have been the Woman of the Year.
He probably got a nomination.
Oh, yeah.
It is National Women's Month, by the way.
Gotcha.
March is.
Okay. Then that makes sense.
She's made a significant impact in her community and across the country.
Wait.
We don't know that.
Do you have the whole list of all the people?
I don't.
Because I'd be interested to know if this went on in every single state.
Exactly. I want to know the percentage, the ratio.
Well, you'd have to have your newsman look that up because
I'm looking right now.
I'm unavoidably detained.
How many were former men?
They appear to all be women. In fact, Goldie Hawn is one, strangely enough. Michelle Obama, Sandra Day O'Connor, Cheryl Lee Ralph, Grace Young.
Well, a better way to put it is, did anyone with common sense get a nomination? Did a GLer win? There you go. Is there a CI girl anywhere in the mix?
Probably doubtful.
Probably not.
I don't know.
The odds are not in your favor.
I had a mole say, there's no other women in Minnesota who are leaders. I mean, Mary Jo Copeland comes to mind.
Yeah.
You couldn't come up with anybody except this goofball?
Yeah, there's got to be others that are doing the work.
Mary Jo is no longer with us, right?
Yes, she is.
She's still around.
Is she? I thought she was
doing the Lord's work without the government help.
Sorry, Mary Jo. I didn't mean to kill you off.
She's made our show before. A gal named, what the hell's her name? Mandy Jung. Jung. Maybe it's Jung.
Mandy Jung?
Mandy Jung. And Fox News reporting gets it wrong. She's not a Minneapolis science teacher. She teaches at Highland Park Middle School in St. Paul. She's come up on this show before. She is very proud and very active in her belief that teaching should be anti-capitalist. And she praises the idea of having no respect for authority. And she's in the St. Paul Public Schools.
And at Highland, they need that.
She dresses, remember Axel and his dog?
Yes.
She looks like Axel. She's got the stripe deal going and she's got that whole Axel look going with the coverall.
So she's setting up these students with everything they need to fail in life then?
No, not according to her. She goes on TikTok and she espouses anti-capitalist and anarchist philosophies. Anarchism is skeptical of all justifications for authority and seeks to abolish systems like capitalism, and she's all for that. My students this year have no respect for authority, she said, and I love that in a person because I have no respect for authority whatsoever. but it has been a frustrating year because I am the authority. So I'm like, damn the man, I am the man.
I
You
got you.
dummy.
Jung recommends bringing anti-capitalist messages into the classroom, such as a Marxist political cartoon which stated, capitalism, we rule you, we fool you, we shoot at you, we eat for you. Okay. I guess the kids love this, huh? It's probably good for the kids. She believes that this prepares the kids to enter the workforce
Wow.
and to learn about nature. And she believes, this is why she came up before. Remember, she believes that cell biology is part of capitalist indoctrination.
Cell biology?
Yeah, she believes that that classic cell biology teacher, is somehow part of capitalist indoctrination. And so she sounds like a creative character. She claims that she can, seventh grade science is the year you learn that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and this is cell biology. So at the end of the unit, I have students take a test, and one of the questions is, a person says the nucleus is the most important organelle in the cell. Do you agree or disagree, and why? And every child says, yes, I agree, but because without a boss, the cell would be in total chaos. And then she said, that cracks me up, and went on to claim that microscopic bacteria are the original anarchists.
All right, they're out of control now. How do we control them?
Wow.
What a weirdo.
The district released a statement to Fox News Digital, which said, as a general rule, public employees, as citizens, have the right to personally comment on matters of public importance without restriction or reprisal from their employer. Yeah, this is the same bunch of liars that punish teachers if they speak out about how poorly the school is run. God almighty.
Exactly.
You people are utter failures.
So they're free to teach curriculum.
Spaceship, please come down.
Get us.
So they're free to teach curriculum that's wrong.
I think what the district
That's
is
not
saying that
proven
we
science?
I think what the district is saying is that she's entitled to whatever she wants to put on TikTok and Instagram and whatever. We have no say over that. And presumably they find her teaching in the classroom must be satisfactory to whatever lousy standards they have, and she must meet those standards. She sounds like she's a creative. It's a shame she's so stupid because she's so smart.
Right.
And this is where Reavers should be chiming in and saying, are you surprised that enrollment is dropping?
Yeah. I mean, are we sending that check to the U of M, by the way? Aren't they getting $100 million or
Well, you
asking for
got to
$100
get
million?
more money because they don't have any money coming in because they've managed to screw it
Oh,
up.
so we don't have to maintain a budget that directly reflects the amount of money we take in.
How about this? Let me see if I can find it. Don't we have Ray of Hope anymore?
I do right here.
Well, where in the hell is it?
Here's today's ray of hope.
There you
Right
found
there.
Oli out in Fargo sent me this. This is from the Maddock, North Dakota shop teacher. He's now 75 years old, and these are his 10 rules for class. These are Wald's rules.
Okay.
Be on time in the room when the bell rings. You think this Jung chick would go for this?
No.
Be prepared. Something to write with. Complaints were handled yesterday.
That's a good one.
Do your work, classroom and shop. Listen, don't talk over others. Number 6, no talking when the teacher is talking. Number 7, keep your area clean, classroom and shop. That'd be just white supremacy, though, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be
Straight up.
racist to have that organized?
You know it
Straight up.
is.
Be the man.
Yeah. 8, respect others and property. 9, do the best you can every day. Number 10, do well, have integrity, take advantage of opportunities given to you. Yeah. That's racist,
Okay.
Wald.
Okay. Okay, Whitey.
You old anachronistic.
What was his name? Wald or Whitey?
Anachronistic guy. Wald, W-A-L-D.
Not Whitey. Okay.
That sounds like something you would encapsulate and then hang up on the bulletin board there in your office and force all of us to live by those rules.
Well, you live closer to those rules than you do this TikTok fruitcake at Highland Park, anti-capitalism thing.
Can we go back to that? I motioned that going forward, you do continue to refer to it as tic-tac.
Yeah, like you did earlier.
Yeah.
None of us said anything, but we all smiled.
But I love it. I think you should just call it tic-tac from now on.
Tic-tac is for your mouth. Tic-tac is for your brain.
Mindy Jung, and every photo of her shows a new look. She likes to experiment with her looks. She's, she like the ones like Axel and his dog.
Yeah. Okay.
And then she's got that kind of look going, huh? Kind of smoky.
I've seen that last name. I've seen that last
name.
Then
you got this look going.
Young, Joe.
Yeah, whatever.
Young.
Mandy Young with Tic Tac. And she's got a breakdown. She's got a diagram of us. You know what? She probably knows her stuff and just decided to freak out at one point.
She went nuts. Samer theory.
She got the Samer theory.
Samer theory.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Now, she hates authority. Do those people stop at red lights?
Not in this city. They're pretty much optional.
Do they pay for when they go to the drugstore to get a prescription? Do they pay for it?
I don't know. Now you just steal it from Walgreens. Which I don't advocate. I was just making a joke.
Everywhere I look, the Department of Veteran Affairs. Come on, spaceship. Come on, man. The Department of Veterans Affairs has officially changed its mission statement, dropping a quote from Abraham Lincoln because it used male pronouns and was viewed as excluding women. On Thursday, the VA announced that its new motto is to fulfill President Lincoln's promise to care for those who have served in our nation's military and for their families, caregivers, and survivors. Okay. The new statement replaces the original 1959 mission statement, which featured a quote from Lincoln's second inaugural address delivered in 1865. That quote was, "To care for him who shall have borne the battle and for his widow and his orphan." So maybe this isn't as bad as I think. Maybe they're just updating it to include the fact that women serve.
I wonder who was offended. I wonder who saw this and said, we need to change this.
Well, in a news release, the VA indicated that Lincoln's words were insufficient because they did not include women veterans as well as veteran families, caregivers, and survivors. The new statement was crafted in consultation with roughly 30,000 veterans who were surveyed, a diverse group that included men and women of every age group, LGBT plus QI minus 2E VWXYP veterans, and white, black, Latino, Asian, and Native American veterans. Okay, I'm not going to bitch. What the hell? It's just Abraham Lincoln.
Let me, I need your help here. We're going to have to change the first paragraph of the Gettysburg Address. 77 years ago, our fathers, we got a problem there, brought forth on the continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. So
human men.
So we've got to get rid of fathers. We've got to get rid of men.
Kenny, I guarantee you that people are already on that.
Absolutely.
I guarantee it.
Absolutely. So then we could no longer call our founding fathers.
No, they'd be the founding people.
Birthers. No,
the mothers are the birthers.
Right. The people that supply the birth thing. What the hell am I talking about?
Audio corner.
Everywhere you look, this country is insane. Absolutely insane. Oh.
Where to go from here?
I said that, the newspapers are particularly ripe for ridicule today.
Yes.
The play story in yesterday's Pioneer Press, the main story.
Yep.
What will future winters look like? Subhead, predictions of more frequent heavy wet snow make city consider plow and treatment needs. And we get quotes from experts. Our winter precipitation has been going up, said Kenny Blumenfeld, a senior state climatologist with the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources. We're having a year with a lot of precipitation and average to above average for temperatures. even though this trend is going to continue, we're still going to have some old-fashioned winters. Maybe not as frequently as they used to be. Come on. Really, what's an old-fashioned winter? How is an old-fashioned winter
what is that?
different than this
I know.
winter?
With the cherry. Little 2 cubes.
Are these,
Yeah,
you
little
know,
sprinkle.
I mean, Blumenfeld, I
yeah.
can't contest him. He's a meteorologist, but what are you, Ken? Are you clinging to the golden book your mom must have read to you while giant, beautiful snowflakes just fluttered down outside the window and the snowman that your dad built had a carrot for a nose?
That's
What
right.
is wrong with you
That's
people?
right. The snow and the blizzards, the big ones we remember as kids, our parents remember as being absolute nightmares.
What is an old-fashioned winter? There is no such thing. Winter's winter.
You mentioned this before the show, so now I'm curious. Do you think that they did this to poke the needle at St. Paul, like get your S together and get this?
No.
Okay. I was trying to throw the Pioneer Press a bone.
But the most important thing I took from this is, and the whole story's like that, it's colder and it's wetter, and some days it's warmer, and it's. If you read the comments to the story,
Yep.
you realize just how universally people are onto this scam. There wasn't one commenter who said, "Oh yeah, I'm frightened. I hope we get more plows, and this is really bad." No, they're all the comments were of the nature of, "Come on, people, how long are you going to keep pulling our
But
leg
then
like this?"
why does one political class keep using this as a rallying cry?
It's a great question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You want these people involved with your life after you're gone?
Absolutely.
Now, you want Eckberg Lammers to put together an estate plan, and I'll tell you why. Because if you don't, the courts will become involved. Taxes will become involved. Your wishes won't be controlled. Eckberg Lammers has been creating estate plans for people for more than 70 years. It's a great, well-known law firm. Look, you're going to pass on. And when you do, you want to leave behind a document that ensures your family is taken care of and your assets are protected according to your wishes. I don't care how old you are.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you have. I don't care how much you intend to disperse among your family. It has to be legal and organized. Maybe you've got family property in dispute. Throw that in the estate plan. They'll take care of it. It's Eckberg Lammers. Snowbirds, you got tax questions? Eckberg Lammers will take care of it. Call Eckberg Lammers for your estate planning needs at 651-439-2878 or visit Eckberg Lammers at eckberglammers.com.
Everyone is going mad in March trying to narrow the field down to 16. Ricey here for the Canopy Group, and they have the Savory 16. The Canopy Group has 16 different insurance companies giving them options to provide you the best home and auto insurance coverage at the best price. The difference is at the Canopy Group, their tournament never ends. They continue to use their 16 different companies to match you with the company providing the best coverage at the best price, and they do this year in and year out. Get in the game. Contact the Canopy Group and get them working on your brackets. Bracketology isn't foolproof. The sure bet is on the Canopy Group, saving you an average of $810 on your home and auto insurance annually. Call 800-967-3389 or visit thecanopygroup.com.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
You know I must go. Never want to be afraid to let the dice roll. I like my chances even when my eyes closed. Odds against me when I dive. 777s every time, and you can bet on it.
This musical interlude brought to you by the Krabby Coffee Shop, where we don't bitch and yell at you and tell you everything that's wrong with the world. We have a little fun, a few laughs, and
little seltzer in your pants.
try to Every week we try to take a dig at management, which is always fun and ill-advised, but we don't like necessarily doing the show, and we figure the only way to get fired from doing the show is to take a swing at management. Again, the Krabby Coffee Shop, new episodes every Wednesday on the Garage Logic Network.
The other nice thing about the show is we take a shot at, well, somebody else on this show, but they never listen anyway, so they don't really care.
Always.
Why?
Yeah, always.
One of you gets it every Wednesday.
Before we get to John Heidt's
No,
news,
it's all of you.
John Heidt's news coming up here, but I want to talk about probably a month from now when you're going to be anticipating the very first lawn cutting. The reason you're going to be anticipating that is because you've already hooked up with professionalturf.com. And if you haven't, you got to know the best lawn on the block, even the neighborhood. You're going to get that with the pros at Professional Turf. They've been doing it since '82. Schedule a free in-person lawn care analysis estimate. Do it right now today at professionalturf.com. And Pro Turf is going to send out a seasoned veteran to walk your lawn, determine what it needs, and then set up a program for you that's both slow-release fertilizers and weed killers, safe and guaranteed for success. No more crabgrass, no more dandelions, broadleaf weeds, gone. And it's all just a click away at professionalturf.com. John Heidt's news brought to us by professionalturf.com.
But before we get to John, I have a treat for you.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Is it food?
Well, you have the NCAA March Madness underway.
I'll say.
Yeah.
I got my bracket written out.
Did Kamala Harris go to Howard University? Look that up, Brooke.
Okay.
Did she go to Howard University?
I think so.
Howard University was defeated, I believe.
Soundly.
It'd be nice if you know who beat them.
Is it Mo Howard University?
Yeah, it's Mo Howard. And
They lost to Kansas.
They lost to Kansas handily. For some reason, Kamala Harris chose to address the team in their locker room. And here it is.
Oh, no.
You guys are so good. You played hard. You played to the very last second. You made all us Bisons so proud. You showed the world who Bison are. You know, I was at Howard back in the day where we were just happy that there was a game. Much less getting to this place, right? And I see Bison literally all over the world, and we've been talking about you, this team. You make us so proud. So I know you may not be feeling great right now, okay? But know who you are. You are excellence.
Okay, I have an assignment for GLers. I want them to look up the hockey coach from Letter.
Yes! Yes!
And you will get what that speech should have sounded like.
Bleeping terrible.
You don't have to do that.
And then he would
go to the Boost Boudreaux speech to the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, same thing. It's not a speech unless a trash can gets thrown or kicked across the room.
Bleeping embarrassing.
What's that word for when she slips into dialect? What am I thinking? She
appropriating a culture. Cultural approach.
She pretended there for a minute she was black.
Yeah, it's cultural appropriation.
Yeah, and she's...
In case you were wondering, Howard was edged 96-68. And so these poor kids, a lot of them are seniors, their careers are done, and they're sitting there with their heads down, and this blabbering meathead comes walking in
and talks to them like third graders. And
you kids are losers. Yeah. Some of you just played your last game as a loser. You will never forget that you are losers. It should have been something along those lines.
This clip, when it first circulated, got a lot of attention.
Established this yet?
That she went to Howard?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
she said she did. Yeah.
So when this clip surfaced over the weekend, you'll see it too, where she makes sure that she gets in position so the cameras are right on her before she gives this rousing speech.
Why is she so dreadfully unlikable?
Kansas did smoke them. She was booed by the crowd when they put her on the big screen.
Good.
Kamala Harris is booed by March Madness crowd.
I just want to know who thought that was a good idea.
I don't know.
Who at Howard said, what the boys need?
Her press agent. That's who.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because I don't see anybody that's not ripping the crap out of this on social media.
Here's John Heidt in his newsroom. I thought you'd enjoy that treat.
That was, I don't understand why she talks to everybody like they're third graders.
I don't either.
I think that's one of the reasons, Joe, that she's hated. Yeah.
Wow. This update brought to you, as Kenny told you, by ProfessionalTurf.com. They'll be doing my lawn again this year for the third year in a row, and it looks beautiful. In the news, negotiations continue today between St. Paul and 3 unions representing public works employees. If they're unable to come to an agreement, more than 100 city workers could walk off the job as soon as tomorrow, at a time when, well, as you probably know, there's a lot of work ahead to fix the roads up after this long winter. The workers, all from the Parks, Water, and Public Works departments, are responsible for plowing snow, filling potholes, and other duties around the city. The workers voted to authorize the strike passed on March 8th, following their contract expiring at the end of 2022. City of Stillwater will give an update on preparations for potential spring flooding today. That meeting will cover the spring flooding forecast, scheduling for constructing a temporary dike, parking lot closures, sandbagging operations, and overall security. It'll all happen tonight, 6:30 at the Stillwater City Hall. With flood risks this year above normal in much of Minnesota and Wisconsin, FEMA is also offering tips to help residents avoid expensive repairs and stay safe. You'd probably like to know what those tips are, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was hoping somebody would
I
ask.
was glad to know what the tips are.
I'm good.
Homeowners should know where the gas, water, and electrical shutoff switches are located on their house.
Okay, got that.
They're advised to stay in tune with the latest weather updates and form an emergency communications plan with other folks that live in the house with you.
Okay.
Steps should be taken to waterproof your basement. Some
Too late for that.
measures include installing a water alarm and
Did Kamala Harris write this?
Yeah.
Who doesn't know all this crap already?
More information on flood preps and flood insurance can be found by visiting floodsmart.com.
Go back to Kamala for a moment. You know there are people who would love to tell her, you've got to change your public demeanor. It's silly. And it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, which suggests to me that no one can get to her.
Yeah.
Well, hasn't she just peeled through staff left and right because no one can stand working with her?
So that means one of two things. Either people are afraid to tell her this, or these third rail people are so thoroughly insulated, people quite literally cannot get to her to tell her
I bet
this.
it's a combination of both, in all honesty.
Because there's got to be some people that care for her. I don't know who that would be.
Or is it...
You'd think her own husband would say that to her.
Or is it who put a question mark in the teleprompter?
Yeah.
They're setting her up to sound like an idiot.
Husbands know better than to bring
that's
that
true.
up.
That's true.
No,
Yeah,
we're
come
not going down that road. Just let them go. Let them go.
Let her go. She's rolling.
Does she have a friend who would say, hey, you're a moron, Kamala. You sound like a complete idiot. Apparently she doesn't.
Well, how about even somebody at maybe at the top echelon where the president resides?
Yeah.
Wouldn't they say, listen, Kamala, here's what you got to do?
Right.
You would think that.
Don't you think, though, working with the president, they got their own set of issues?
Well, they do. That's pointed in the right direction.
No, go. The Easter Bunny's over that way, President.
Yeah. Huh?
Remember that scam? That was the best. Oh, come over here.
Woodbury police arrested 4 suspects Saturday night for a string of carjackings that day around the metro. Of those arrested, 3 were adults, 1 was a juvenile. Officers located a stolen vehicle about 5 in the afternoon in the 9100 block of Hudson Road. The 4 people in the vehicle were suspected of multiple armed carjackings in the metro and an ammo theft in Woodbury. Officers arrested 3 people at the vehicle. 1 ran away. According to police, a pistol and assault rifle were located inside the vehicle. After a prolonged search and a tip from a citizen, officers did find and arrest the 4th suspect on Jade Trail in Lake Alamo. The 4 suspects booked into the Washington County Jail. The investigation is still active into all those carjackings.
What does that mean in ammo? Like an ammunition store? You said it was an ammo?
Oh, they just found some bullets.
Okay.
In a car, I think.
Okay.
What I got out of it anyway.
Got it.
Although still above pre-pandemic levels, violent crime has decreased this year in Minneapolis, and city leaders are saying community engagement is among the factors, part of the reason. Compared with the first 2.5 months of 2022, violent crime down in every major category. According to Minneapolis Crime Dashboard data, through March 19th, 2023, the city has had fewer assaults, homicides, thefts, robberies, carjackings, and injuries by gunfire. Safety coordinator, community coordinator, Cedric Alexander. Joe, you always say we haven't heard from him in a while.
My man Cedric.
He's still there. He told 5 Eyewitness News, our buddies downstairs, the decrease in violent crime can be attributed to the police department's efforts to work more closely with community groups, violence interrupters, and the downtown council. Reverend Jerry McAfee, who heads up 21 Days of Peace in Minneapolis, told KSTP there's been great collaboration and better communications between community groups and the MPD, which has helped improve trust between community members and police. Operation Endeavor, which was launched by the police department last fall, involved a crackdown on criminal hotspots with the help of the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office and several federal investigative agencies. It's something Alexander says will continue as the warmer weather arrives and crime increases.
This was on the news last night, and about 3 minutes later, it was breaking news of a shooting on First Avenue near the Fine Line.
Timing is everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because when I read this story, I said, well, this isn't, people are taking this as a reason to celebrate. That's not at all what we should be doing.
For reasons. The little guy's going to send the press out to cover this every time he gets a new statistic.
Yeah.
Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport preparing for a spring break passenger surge by adding more parking, more venues, and staff to meet demand this year. Brian Reichs is the CEO of the Metropolitan Airports Commission. He says MSP expects one of its busiest spring break seasons in several years as increased passenger demand continues to fuel aviation's ongoing recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2022, 5 out of the top 20 busiest days at MSP occurred during the spring break travel period. This year, the TSA expects national spring break passenger volumes to rival pre-pandemic levels. MSP projecting overall passenger volumes in 2023 to increase by 10%.
Is it already a goat rodeo, Rook?
Yes, people are seriously flying.
Yeah.
Everything is full.
Formerly well-connected Republican donor accused of plying vulnerable teenage girls with cash, liquor, and gifts goes on trial starting tomorrow on those federal charges of sex trafficking minors. Anton Tony Lazaro is charged with 7 counts involving commercial sex acts with 5 minors ages 15 and 16 in 2020 when he was 30 years old. His indictment touched off a political firestorm that led to the downfall of Jennifer Carnahan as chair of the Republican Party in Minnesota. His co-defendant, Gisela Medina, who formerly led the college Republicans chapter at the University of St. Thomas, pleaded guilty to 2 counts last year. She's cooperating with prosecutors and will testify against him. She faces sentencing in August. Lazaro is denying the sex trafficking allegations. He says the government targeted him for political reasons and because of his wealth. Miami Beach Mayor Dan Gelber announced a curfew last night after 2 fatal shootings over the weekend on Ocean Drive amid an influx of spring breakers and out-of-city visitors.
Some of those videos are insane that I saw over the weekend, John. You're talking about Miami Beach. Yeah, it's nuts what's going on down there.
The mayor said, as I've said many times, we don't ask for spring break in our city. We don't want spring break in our city. It's too rowdy, brings too much disorder, and it's simply too difficult to police. He added both shootings were between visitors to Miami Beach and did not involve our residents. Gelber put a curfew into effect that started at 11:59 last night, lasted through 6 this morning. The city announced in a press release the city manager will probably impose an additional curfew coming up through this upcoming Thursday through next Monday, March 27th.
They've been lumberjacked, huh?
Yeah.
Did you guys see the picture of Peggy Flanagan with a shirt that had a knife on it?
Sure did, Joe.
On the news?
I don't know.
It originated on Twitter.
What was the knife? What was the point of the knife?
It was the T-shirt read "Trans Kids" or "Trans Lives Matter." I think it was kids. Trans kids matter.
Yeah.
And it had a knife in it.
Was the knife for cutting off the Johnson?
Hey now.
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But that's our lieutenant governor.
I don't care for her.
Lou.
No.
Well, the indictment of Donald Trump.
No, John. I want to tell you first. I want to tell you something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Get your cheap ass to Moeller. Buy your wife.
That's a hell of a marketing slogan.
Get over there.
Get your cheap
Get over
ass
to RF Moeller Jeweler in St. Paul, Ford and Cleveland, or in Edina at 50th in France. Family owned and operated in the Twin Cities since 1951. It's my only jewelry store. You don't have to be cheap to go there, but I've just given Heidt some grief because I think his wife is due for an anniversary ring coming up. Birthday?
Yeah, in a month or two.
Graduation?
Couple months.
Engagement.
Sure. Anything.
They got it. Sapphires, rubies, gemstones, diamonds. Oh, man, they got some beautiful stuff. And if you want to design your own engagement ring, they have artisans on hand with computer programs.
Okay.
They're up to date. They know what they're doing. Right. And wonderful staff. I use the staff. You don't need one of the owners, although they're helpful too. But it's RF Moeller Jeweler, the only jewelry store I've ever used. It's the only one I ever will. In fact, I just got some double secret orders of something I have to get coming up. So they've been celebrating love since 1951. RFMoeller.com, John.
You know, Joe and I were just talking about how great it is to have a new partner here in Garage Logic. And I'm talking about Anderson Brothers Outdoors. It's a really cool story. The owners are two brothers, Christoph and Justin, and they started the business back when they were in junior high school, just mowing lawns around the neighborhood. And they kept at it, and they worked really hard, and now they have grown into a premier outdoor living business. Anderson Brothers Outdoors is a full design and build outdoor construction company. So whether you're interested in a custom natural wood or composite deck, a paver patio, hardscaping, pools, outdoor kitchens, or you've got something else in mind, they're going to look forward to creating the outdoor space that you desire. And they'll consult with you and design your dream outdoor living space. You get to take a look at a personalized 3D rendering of the design prior to the project start. And you got to look at some of their amazing work that they've done. Go to their website, Anderson Bros, B-R-O-S, AndersonBrosOutdoors.com, and check out everything that they have to offer. Please, when you make your reservation with Christoph and Justin, let them know that you heard about them here on the Garage Logic Podcast.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Chance of rain and rain changing to snow numerous times this week. It's the heart attack style snow, and as GLers, we like to be on top of our space management game no matter what time of year it is. And right now, it's go time.
Hey!
Time to finally buy. That's double guns.
Yeah.
It's go time. Yeah, let's get that Toro snowblower in your garage during the spring sale on both the Toro Power Clear single-stage blowers and the Power Max two-stage blowers at Tri-State, Little Canada, Hudson, Burnsville. These are the best deals of the year, and whichever one you opt for, I promise you're going to look forward to the next snowfall with these Toro snowblowers. Same deal with the zero-turn mowers from Toro. These things not only cut mowing time, but they make mowing fun, and Tri-State has the best pricing on select previous model years. The Time Cutter and Titan zero-turn mowers ranging from 42 to 60 inches, discounts from 10 to 20%. Be sure to tell them you're a GLer when you go in to any one of the Tri-State locations, Burnsville, Little Canada, and Hudson, and you can see everything they sell at tristatebobcat.com.
Here's back to Johnny.
John, your mic's off.
John, you got to turn your mic on.
I was muted.
Yeah,
Some people would probably like that.
Yeah.
Well, the indictment of Donald Trump in New York.
Can you mute your mic again?
It appears imminent. Attorneys for Trump this morning filed a sweeping 483-page legal motion asking a Georgia court to block any report from the Fulton County special grand jury and any evidence the grand jury may find. That news comes just hours after reports that District Attorney Fran Willis in Georgia could be considering RICO, or conspiracy and racketeering charges against Trump. Watchers of the proceedings say Trump's infamous call to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger included a whole series of false claims, threats, and efforts to drag Raffensperger into a conspiracy. Trump's filing says the grand jury was conducted under an unconstitutional statute through an illegal and unconstitutional process.
This will never result in anything. This will only make him more popular.
He predicts his own arrest and is
He's calling for it.
telling his supporters
We've reached
to
Banana
protest.
Republic territory.
Ukraine awaits President Xi Jinping's visit to the Kremlin this week with apprehension, fearing that China may ultimately decide to supply its strategic ally, Russia, with arms, influencing the outcome of the war. Beijing seeks to depict itself as a neutral party to the conflict, neither condemning nor explicitly supporting the Russian offensive. Meanwhile, speaking of Russia, remember the train derailment in Ohio last month?
Oh, what an interesting story this is.
Fascinating. A lot of folks were worried about the aftermath, and part of the reason, anonymous pro-Russian accounts started spreading misleading claims and anti-American propaganda about it on Twitter, using Elon Musk's new verification system to expand their reach while creating the illusion of credibility. The accounts, which parroted Kremlin talking points on myriad topics, claimed without evidence that authorities in Ohio were lying about the true impact of the chemical spill. The accounts spread fear-mongering posts that preyed on legitimate concerns about pollution and health effects, and compared the response to the derailment with America's support for Ukraine following its invasion of Russia. Some of the claims pushed by the pro-Russian accounts were verifiably false, like suggestions that the news media had covered up the disaster or that environmental scientists traveling to the site had been killed in a plane crash. But most were more speculative, seemingly designed to stoke fear and distrust. Examples include unverified maps showing widespread pollution, posts predicting an increase in fatal cancers, and others about unconfirmed mass animal die-offs. The accounts were identified by Reset, a London-based nonprofit that studies social media's impact on democracy. Felix Carte, a senior advisor at Reset, said the report's findings indicate Twitter is allowing Russia to use its platform like a bullhorn. Twitter did not respond to messages seeking comment on the story.
It's just proving Suits right. That's what that story was. That's all I could think about when I read it. Yeah, old Joe might have a good idea there.
Yep. On Saturday,
for $1 million, do you have any idea what Kenny's talking about?
I knew it. What are you doing?
Joe, you know how you always say
I drifted
get
off.
any news from Twitter, et cetera, et cetera.
Drifted off.
Kenny, when you were saying that, I'm looking at Joe's face, like, he has no idea what the hell
I
Kenny
drifted off. And you bitch at me because I'm watching a movie and an old Johnny Carson rerun, and I
the story confirms a point you make once a week at least.
Which is Twitter. Twitter's not good.
Well, okay, well, let's boil it down to that. Twitter's not good.
Yeah.
Bad. Wow.
I drifted off.
Pulling a Reavers today is the mayor, Joe
Watch
Souchere.
the bobber there, Gramps.
I'm never, ever going to feel bad when you scold me at this point.
Ever.
No. Sorry.
No.
Ever. No.
Drifted
Fellas,
off.
I think we have to have a 5:00 meeting with the host.
Hopefully he'll stay engaged for it.
When would that be? Five?
5, yeah. On Saturday, Michigan State Police were forced to shut down all lanes of traffic on I-96 near Ionia County. Some really weird video of this. Whiteout condition caused a pileup of dozens of cars. The initial crash happened at 4:40 in the afternoon, but I-96 wasn't reopened until 10 p.m. as police struggled for hours to clear between 50 to 100 cars from the road. Thankfully, injuries were reported, but none serious and no reported casualties. Whiteout conditions came on pretty suddenly, drastically reducing visibility, according to drivers involved in the pileup. Making matters worse, a lot of drivers reportedly had their lights off, making it nearly impossible to see cars ahead. They didn't say how many people were injured in the pileup, but there were enough crashes that buses were taking people to a temporary warming and reunification center at a nearby church. Some folks stuck in their cars for hours, by the way, and took first responders a while to get there because of the mess. While that was happening, Kenny, what do you think of this? People were getting out of their cars and wandering away.
I was just waiting for you to pause so I could preach.
Yep.
Stay in your car, please. Stay buckled in and in your car.
Yeah.
I told you this before. My kid and her guy drove here one Christmas from the Carolinas.
Yep.
Got stuck in a 24-hour delay in their car in a blizzard. Oof. And the next day when they could move again, there was row after row after row all the way down the freeway of snowmen that had been built.
Because everyone was stranded.
By the families that let their kids out and build snow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very, very different. What are you doing?
Festive, but
what are you doing?
And then all of those kids got wet, and the car ran out of gas, and they ended up freezing to death.
Probably,
the end.
Yeah.
Boy.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Good night, kids.
Surprise ending.
They never got to grandma's.
Yeah.
And they were forced to eat Rudolph.
Right.
Rupert Murdoch is getting married again. Murdoch and girlfriend Ann Leslie Smith are engaged just 7 months after the News Corp chair reached a divorce settlement with his now ex-wife, Jerry Hall. This will be the 92-year-old's fifth marriage.
What science is this guy using?
Such, I know guys that have been married to one person, and they say that they would never get married again if something were to happen. What the hell is wrong with this guy?
He must not ever want to be alone.
He doesn't want to be alone.
Exactly. Yeah. We lost a fine actor over the weekend. I don't know if you guys saw this. Lance Reddick dying unexpectedly of natural causes at the age of 60. In a very busy career working both in films and television roles, distinctive voice and cadence, also voiced characters in video games and cartoons. Best known probably as Lieutenant Cedric Daniels in the HBO series The Wire. He played a Baltimore cop in that who tried to stay on the good side of things and get his officers to do good police work. Past couple of years, he was Police Chief Irvin Irving on Bosch, and moviegoers may know him from his role in the various John Wick movies, including John Wick 4, which is coming out, I believe, later this month, or else in April.
Well, there's no such thing as natural causes when you're 60.
I was going to say this.
Well, he had to have a heart attack,
That's right, but I mean, come on. Give him 90 for a natural cause.
Right.
And if you've seen him, he was in great physical condition.
Well, you know what, John? No, not the hour.
Okay.
You really don't know, do you?
No.
You don't know.
You never know when you're going to tip out of the canoe, go face first into the mashed potatoes, and end up looking at the wrong side of the grass.
That's right.
There you go.
Wow.
The New Mexico Department of Game and Fish is hiring professional bear huggers.
Well, I could do that.
Bear?
Bear?
It's like a big bear hugger? No, I mean like a big bear
Yeah,
hug.
they want to hug him.
The department is looking for conservation officers who are willing to work hands-on with wildlife in New Mexico. New Mexico Department of Game and Fish says candidates must have the ability to hike in strenuous conditions, have the courage to crawl into a bear den, and have the trust in your coworkers to keep you safe during the process.
No.
See you.
The deadline to apply for the position is Thursday, March 30th, and applications can be submitted in the department's website, wildlife.state.mn.us. Educational requirements include a Bachelor of Science degree
Educational requirements.
Oh, yeah, you got to have a BS.
College education, yep.
Did you read any novels by C.J. Box? You heard that name? I'm reading one now. He's got a character named Joe Pickett, who's a game warden in Colorado, where I live.
I thought you were Wyoming.
I thought you lived in Wyoming.
Whoops.
Oh, that's right.
He went one state too far.
No, he's in Wyoming.
He drifted off.
Yeah.
He's in
Joe
Wyoming.
forgot where he lived.
Where I now live in Wyoming.
Remember that?
And I think if I had it to do over again, I'd want to be a game warden.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Could you
Too
imagine?
old now, but I'd like to be a game warden.
John, the one qualification they left out is you also have to be able to be ready to burst into Shorty Johansson's fish house as he's hunched over the third hole.
It's an elegant sight.
Wow.
Warden!
Hello, Shorty.
Shorty in there.
What's the bear hugger position pay, John? Did you give that?
I did not have a salary on that, Chris. I'm sorry.
What are we going to do? Hug them?
No, it's just
well,
a
you're going to get the
euphemism,
Cubs.
Joe. It's,
Get the
Oh, you
Cubs
get the
out
Cubs,
of the-
sure.
out of
Yeah.
the cave. That'd probably be 1/1000th of the job, I would guess.
I would
because
think so.
every mom wants a law enforcement officer to come into the maternity ward there or the kid's room and then take the the little kid out of there.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Mom
what
might
every
be a
mom
bit
wants.
owly. Is that what you're saying?
And finally, as we know, as we grow older, the hair in our nose, on our ears, everywhere
is
gets
the
a little
deal?
thicker.
And fast.
Yeah, really fast.
I'm hearing about that quite a bit.
Yeah. There are some warnings out there now because apparently one of the new things that's very popular out there is nose waxing.
I don't do that.
No,
Wait,
I don't
what?
either.
I'm not doing that.
You twirl them up?
Don't you need those hairs to prevent getting colds and stuff?
Yeah,
aren't they part of the plan?
Twirl them up like a mustache?
Don't get ahead of the story, Joe. No, Kenny, waxing, waxing. Oh, I see what you're doing there. You're reeling me in, aren't you? Yeah. Anyway.
Like he's Raleigh fingers.
Yeah, like a Raleigh fingers thing coming out of your nose.
That's the first thing I thought.
The waxing can cause some problems. It can cause skin tenderness and redness that can leave the nose very sore on the inside. And it can also, as Joe said, increase one's risk of ingrown hairs, weakened immunity, and skin damage. Because should germs make their way into the body through damaged skin, it can also increase the risk of infection. One such infection, nasal vestibulitis, can occur when Staphylococcus bacteria enter the body.
Hey, teacher, leave them hairs alone. Yeah. How come women don't have nose hair?
Teacher,
what they do? They just pluck it.
Oh, I've never seen any nose hair on a woman.
Teacher, leave them hairs alone.
That's what I was singing.
Nose hair.
Great Pink Floyd song.
Nose hairs also help filter impurities before they can enter the body.
See, that's my thought, John, and I resent being told to get rid of those hairs.
We don't want them dangling over your lip and getting caught in your coffee.
I get the scissors out once in a while. Get rid of those.
What about
Don't you have a nose trimmer?
Look at the monitor, Suits.
Yeah, I am.
Do this. Run your finger up and down the bridge of your nose.
Yeah.
You feel any fur on there?
No.
Fur.
Mine grow so fast, I have to shave it once a week.
You have to shave your nose?
The top, this part. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? You're a sick human being.
Sometimes I can see them that get so long.
I don't have that.
Yeah, I have that problem also, but you got to use the tweezers.
Is that when you kind of go cross-eyed when you're looking at your nose and you're looking at your...
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell is that? You start scratching it's not on your glasses. It's coming out of your nose.
And as I get older, they used to be black and I could see them, and now they're white. So...
Where's the party?
Boy,
So
I'll tell you
embarrassing.
what,
I
this
hate
is
getting
really,
old.
Really bad deal.
Moral of this story: trim your nose hair.
I guess, but not so much as that you would. You don't want to get a cold because of your absence of nose hair. That's they're part of the nature's plan.
Just trim the one sticking out. That's all. That's all you need to do.
Right, yeah, you don't need to go completely
Thank
shaved.
you, John.
You don't need to go completely shaved.
No,
Bald.
you don't.
No.
But I'll tell you what, since we have a great segue here from nose
transition
hairs
out of
to
this
charity, huh? You really, I'm just going to plow through this with the roadblock.
If anybody can do it, you can.
Okay, well, I will tell you, I do have a message today about Minnesota Masonic Charities. From time to time, they would highlight organizations and that they support. So I'd like to highlight Crescent Cove. It's a wonderful organization that offers care and support to children and young adults with shortened life expectancy. I can't imagine that anybody has to go through that. And if you do, you're worried about costs, about spending time with that child. I'll tell you what, they really help out. Crescent Cove does a great job. Around the United States, there are over 4,700 hospice homes for adults, but the Crescent Cove Respite and Hospice Home for Kids in Minnesota is the first one designed just for children and their unique needs. And just a third of its kind in the United States. A vibrant and joyful home away from home. Their goal is to help families feel embraced, assured, and celebrate. So check out their website, MNMasonicCharities.org, or go to Crescent Cove and find out how the Minnesota Masonic Charities help them out with an annual grant. So do yourself a favor, go to the website, crescentcove.org or MNMasonicCharities.org as well. Thank you.
This guy wears many hats, just not indoors. Joe Souchere.
Reavers here once again for the best in the business, and that is Hofferman Water, an independent water treatment dealer. They offer sales, service, and rental options for Connecticut water treatment systems. And you might be asking yourself, well, what if I'm not in the market right now? Well, you should be, because your water stinks at your house. You need to upgrade like I did years ago. Look at this, Joe, right here. Fresh from my own house. I won't drink the swill out
right
here.
Through it. It looks very clear.
See? Maybe I should do the show like
right
this from now on. Anyway, give them a call today, 952-894-4040. That's their website. And I got to tell you, if you're thinking about making the change, I do it right now because spring is always their busiest time of the year. So 952-894-4040 or Better yet, just go to their website, HoffermanWater.com. You go on their website, you can see everything that they have, whether you're looking for a drinking water system, an odor filtration system, or just a brand new water softener. They got you taken care of at Hofferman Water. And they have been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years. Make your appointment, and please tell them that you heard about them here on the Garage Logic podcast.
You'll recall that a judge appeared before law students at Stanford. And their diversity director was so excited to have something to do. She rushed in there and said, "You're hurting the kids," because he was appointed by Trump or whatever, and they created this false grieving. Those kids are now demanding that newspapers hide their names and obscure their faces.
I saw that, yes.
Well, because they're afraid now that the real life might catch up to them. They wouldn't get a job.
That's not how it works.
As Jordy notes, their names and pictures should be plastered over every legal journal in America for the next 10 years, and then they can use their worthless degree to get a job at Starbucks. They should have their names and faces reported. They're not qualified to become attorneys, but they're in that failed academy.
Damn it!
But what are we missing here? Accountability.
Yeah.
Only because they come to us. Yes. All the way.
We done already?
From Marloth Park in Mpumalanga, South Africa, from the Traveling Lymans at worldwidewaftage.com. On this day in 1858.
I'm ashamed you didn't mention spring once today.
Today's the first day of spring.
Oh, that's right.
Didn't we become a state in 1858?
Yep, and Kandiyohi County was established. At first comprising only the southern half of its present area. In 1870, the county absorbed its northern neighbor, Monongalia County.
What are your C counties?
C? Or
Cook?
Good
Chippewa.
one, Chris. Thank you.
how do you spell Kandiyohi?
I only said that to irritate the living out of you.
Honest to God.
Joe, if you'd watch the monitor, he even gave us one of these, like, watch this.
Yeah. Well, he got me, didn't he?
Spelled Candy.
Kandiyohi is a Dakota name for lakes in the county, meaning where the buffalo fish come.
It's where the world's largest candy store is.
On this day in 1920,
March 20th,
W.E.B. Du Bois gave a lecture in St. Paul, sponsored by the local chapter of the NAACP.
Okay.
And, of course, known for some malapropism, sometimes the CP, who always fills out a bracket for the basketball tournament, calls it the NAACP tournament. It's the NCAA.
She misspoke.
Right. On this day in 1992.
Well, she is a lefty.
Yep. On this day in 1992.
March 20th.
During World War II, the surviving crew members of the U.S. Army Air Corps bombing raid on Tokyo, led by Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Doolittle, gathered in Red Wing. They were joined by Chinese villagers who had rescued some of the airmen after they crashed or parachuted into the nearby sea or China after the attack, organized by a Red Wing area resident who had led an expedition to China in 1990 to try to recover remains of the raid bombers. Their reunion also honored Doolittle, who was unable to attend.
Yeah,
That if I was in charge of this day in history, that wouldn't have made it.
Oh, come on.
Really.
I think they had to take off, correct me if I'm wrong, off an aircraft carrier. And the reason they crashed is because they didn't have enough fuel to get back, and they knew ahead of time that they were going to crash.
Well, it had to be pinpoint.
It's a fascinating story.
I'm sure it is, Kenny. That's not why it wouldn't have made the list because of me.
Why?
Because nobody was able to go to it.
Oh.
Well,
they all
Jimmy
had a thing.
Jimmy died the year after, and he was already in his 90s, so Jimmy couldn't make it.
Plus, they were joined by Chinese villagers in Rochester.
Huh?
Does Rochester have...
I don't know.
Red Wing, Red Wing.
Traveled.
Did they
Don't you
bring
think they
over some
traveled?
Chinese villagers?
Oh, yeah, don't you think?
Let's be honest here, Joe. If they were going to have a party to celebrate us somewhere,
Yeah.
we'd probably wouldn't show up, would we?
Right.
We barely go to our own live events.
They have to pay us before we go.
Oh, there's some exciting news of one coming up this summer, but I'm not prepared to announce that yet.
Really?
Yeah. Because you know what? From now on, we ain't appearing anywhere except in theaters or theater-like venues.
Theater.
That's if we go to Fulda.
Theater.
Well, be the
Theaters.
Theater. Thank you, GLers, and welcome to spring. It's the first day of spring.
Summer.
5 o'clock, right? 5:45 or something like that?
4, right around now.
Yes,
sometime.
John?
Let me mention quickly, I looked up a story on it. They flew 5 of the rescuers in from China.
Wonderful.
Villagers who helped find the U.S.
That
airmen.
cleared it up for me. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Well, thank you for clearing that up. Let me clear some stuff up for you via podcast. Go to PodMN on your smartphone to find a library of podcasts that will suit you and entertain you and educate you. That's PodMN on your smartphone. Flip over to GarageLogic.com to learn more about the Garage Logic Town Council for $10 a month or $100 a year. We're saving $20 there. You can sign up for all sorts of pleasantries when you're a member of the Garage Logic Town Council. Then click over to the online store to find out what wonderful garb from Garage Logic we have and subscribing to YouTube on the Garage Logic YouTube channel. Super easy. Man, that's a mouthful. Mouthful of cha.
Using Seafoam motor treatment in your fuel tank gives you one less thing to worry about this summer. A lot of people might not realize that most preventable engine problems actually start in the fuel system. Seafoam cleans harmful gum and varnish from the entire fuel system and helping your engine run better, start faster, and last longer. Seafoam works that same magic on all your cylinders, whether it's gas or diesel, a 1-lunger or 12. Seafoam is the ticket. As GLers, we support fossil fuels, freedom, and the love of cylinders. Know that you're doing your part to make sure your engine is running clean and great. You can find it anywhere, and the true believers actually keep an extra can in the car. Truly a wonderful product in a world of bad gas. Seafoam.